how I made the Elite Knight armor from Dark Souls, specifically my own interpretation of the chosen undead
Yo, it's
protagonist.
John Souls.
Yes, it was something that I wanted to do for years. So at the beginning of January, I decided to just pull the trigger and say, when's a better time than now to do this? Just preface as well. I don't have any art experience. I don't know how to paint. I don't know how to do EVA foam crafting. Before doing this project, I didn't know how to sew. I didn't know how to do any of this. Most of my visual guidance that I used for making this outfit was off of the gecko statue, which is like a $500 plus USD Japanese statue that was very, very detailed, like hand brushed, like every inch of that thing. And then the one on the far right was kind of more of my color palette reference because the Dark Souls 2 model is a lot brighter for some reason compared to the others. The others are a lot darker, more dark fantasy colored. Dark Souls 2 gave me more of the color palette I was looking for. For example, like the blue denim you see here used for the tabard. From start to finish, I believe the official count for every single handmade piece was, I think, 29 to 31 individual pieces, mostly EVA foam, some fabric sewing and whatnot. We have the helmet, the tabard, dagger piece, which is on the side, which is shown off in the Dark Souls model, the belts for the character, which are like kind of realistic belts for like a sellsword or a knight type character. The chainmail skirt armor at the bottom, which is entirely custom made. The kneecap armor, EVA foam. The boot armor, same thing, EVA foam spray paint. And then the scarf, which kind of goes around my neck and whatnot. My arm chainmail, which is just a polyester mesh. The grass crest shield, which I've got attached to the back of my tabard via magnets. So it is legitimately floating on my back.
I was curious about that.
Custom twin blades. This isn't an actual Dark Souls weapon. This is if I was in the world of Dark Souls, what would my Elite Knight character have? These are not the sellsword twin blades. They're not curved. They're more straight swords. And if anything, in realistic combat, twin blades don't work because unless you're like the most skilled ambidextrous human alive, you're not really at much of an advantage with two swords. However, it's a video game, and I think having two swords is better than one.
And it looks cool having two swords.
Exactly. For all of those crafting heads watching the video and or listening right now, all my body armor pieces were made using, in the top left corner, you can see a flat antique nickel spray, plasti dip, graphite powder, which is usually meant for drawing on like a canvas or like paper, like artists use it a lot. Really helps with the luster and shine to make foam spray paint look like realistic metal, and then a bunch of different heavy duty Liquitex paint. The helmet was constructed using 2mm, 4mm, and 6mm EVA foam pieces. There's a content creator and cosplay crafter online that goes by the name of Ashen Warrior Props. Dude is like fucking goated. He literally, for free, uploaded an entire like pattern file online for how to make this helmet look one-to-one from the game, totally for free. All you have to do is just print it out, tape it out, and then buy the correct layers of foam, and then follow his YouTube guide to make this helmet. I have neodymium magnets aligning the sides of the helmet, so it's super easy to slip in and out of. The orange cotton fabric was purchased, cut with a steak knife to weather. I took black acrylic paint to make it look like it had years of sweat damage and wear and tear and soot stains and whatnot, just from black acrylic paint, making it really, really torn up. Like, it quite literally was a perfectly functional, clean looking piece of Calvin Klein whatever orange fabric that I just put through the meat grinder to look like it had, beat Gwyn at the end of the game.
So you like put it through a artificial patina.
I'm not familiar with the term.
Patina is a fancy word that people use when they have an old piece of shit, either car or, piece of equipment or something, and they want to describe it as being aged and weathered in a way that is graceful. But no, it means rusted and stained and like junky looking. That's patina.
Well, it's also like with leather, like you get some old leather shoes, they have that nice kind of...
There's that word, old, worn, gross, crusty.
Oh, Krusty's not here.
All right, Jess.
Coming soon to own on video and DVD.
The official Sir Swag Academy Discord for members only is officially online. This will be a server primarily designed for people to share their own stories with each other, as well as to get into contact with us. The $10 Teacher's Pet tier is also now live. The Teacher's Pet will be able to listen in on our Sir Swag Academy recording sessions live in the Discord server, and they will also have priority replies in YouTube comments and the live chat.
Josh Link Watson once again on Team Boat. Can your plane or tank shoot Sudan-sized rounds like the USS Texas? Also, ships came first.
The $10 Teacher's Pet tier will also have access to special artwork created for the channel by Skipty and Max. And as always, Thanks for watching.
My mantra moving through the entire like making process of it was any mistakes that I make get worked into damage. So for example, like, oops, I cut this piece a little short. Oh, that's not a big deal. We'll just take the box cutter and the Dremel tool and fuck it up right there, cover it with like fake rust paint and call it like, oh, a sword like did the damage and whatnot.
Embracing mistakes and turning them into additional damage as like character. It's exactly what Bob Ross taught you to do, right?
Yeah.
Is happy little accidents.
Happy accidents. Yeah.
The entire right arm that I made is made out of EVA foam. The glove pictured here was a real glove I purchased off of Etsy that I later weathered with just orange, orangish brown acrylic paint, so it didn't naturally wear and tear over time. All of this is handmade beyond the glove. I made the entire left arm as one big piece. So it's quite literally like the fucking Edward Elric arm that I can like slip into, which is pretty cool. I have the leather glove seen here velcroed onto the metal gauntlet piece that sits over my forearm. I made 18 individual EVA foam pieces that I then glued to the hand, and then I made like the little elbow piece. Basically I slip into it and it fits really well and looks really good. The tabard was a challenge. I had never even touched a sewing machine. Spray painting and EVA foam cutting is easy compared to like the depths of how far sewing can go. I bought a bunch of slub twill denim. I bought a step-by-step instruction guide online for how to make like a Templar tabard. Completely ignored half of it because it didn't have the right shape. So I quite literally, for my first ever sewing project, first time touching a sewing machine, threading, doing this and that, also had to make alterations because I'm also a very, very tall guy. The alterations turned out well, as you can see with my little paper cutouts on the floor in the top photo there. Worked out super well, and just the sewing part, basically, like the only thing I was worried about was like, will the piece stay together? And ultimately, at the end of the day, it did. I've got a couple other slides talking about the tabard specifically because this was the centerpiece that kind of tied a lot of the outfit together. But the rest of it, as you can kind of see with the gold trimmings, was a real joy to do. And personally, I think it's the highlight reel selling point of my cosplay because there's no good reference photo for the in-game models of the tabard and then like the gold trims and whatnot. I had to literally pixel zoom in on the photos of the statue and kind of just eyeball and draw onto my fabric. Every single line you see there, I had to hand draw, hand cut out with a X-Acto blade or X-Acto knife, and then with the space remaining, paint over it with a gold paint pen. All of that like painstaking little detail work each like literally gave me like a day of carpal tunnel. In addition to that, got the magnets glued in and working so that the grass crush shield, which I still haven't shown off because it's in a later slide, floats onto the back of the tabard. Belts, all EVA foam. These are not real belts. The buckle is real, like it's made of metal, but everything else there is paint and EVA foam. Same with the dagger. The dagger was its own piece entirely. So same thing with the twin blades. Something I didn't mention in the dagger was, and you can see in the bottom left here, boning channels are very important if you're ever making prop weapons out of foam. If you don't, they become like pool noodles, and it kind of takes away from like the realism element of your weapon making and whatnot. So I went to Lowe's, bought a fiberglass rod, trimmed it up with a saw to be the right size, and that entire orange rod is in the middle of both twin blades. So it's literally the boning structure for the entire.
Someone say boning?
Yeah, no, that's a legit term. Shield, which is also something I'm really excited about. Basically went through the process of constructing the body for it, layering it so it was thick, putting a EVA foam handle on the back. I didn't put the yellow onto a white canvas background. Like the EVA foam I was painting on was solid black, as you can see in the bottom right photo and the bottom middle photo. So the yellow took like 3 hours of layering just to get to that color. And then the gray on the other side was pretty easy to do. And then eventually lined up the magnets that were seen on the tabard in previous slides with the ones that are on the shield in the top left. It functions really, really well as long as I'm not like quick rolling like they do in the game. Like the shield will stay on me like the entire time I'm walking around. Last couple slides, I bought pants off of Etsy. They were like pirate pants or something, but the color they came in was like really solid brown. Like I'm talking Halloween outfit kind of brown. So I also learned how to dye clothes with a RIT dye pack, specifically a black color pack, to a much, much darker brown that matched the statue completely. And then I attached the kneecap armor, via Velcros.
I noticed earlier there was Velcro on like the scarf to keep it in place on the tabard as well. How much of cosplaying is hiding little pieces of like Velcro or tape or magnets to stop things from moving?
Oh, Skipty, that's all art. Every art form has a way of just hiding the things that you don't want people to see under layers of bullshit.
Like if you look at like Elden Ring armor or Dark Souls armor, like, and really ask
It's
yourself,
kinda
how would this
ridiculous.
work? Yeah, how would this work in real life? And you look at something like the bull goat armor that has literally like 2 horns covering both shoulder sides. Like you can't even see out of the armor. Leg armor, same thing. EVA foam, spray painting. I did Velcro this, which isn't necessarily pictured, but the Velcro is hidden on like these. You can kind of see it here, hidden on the side so it stays perfectly onto the boots and whatnot. When I'm wearing the whole outfit, I quite literally cannot like be on my phone. Like I can't do anything. The leather gloves on both hands like are really difficult to hold things. The helmet I can see really well out of, but wearing the whole outfit is kind of like a difficulty when it's all on. And plus it's been so hot where I'm at that I sweat to death on that thing in more than 10 seconds if I'm not in like the AC. I entered in a cosplay contest for that year, which had 64 people in total. And I'm happy to announce here that I was one of the 16 award winners. And I'm very proud of myself for having done that, having just learned to work with EVA foam, spray paint, fabric, sewing. I mean, literally the whole 9 yards.
I love just the scene of this like sea of anime girls and like Disney characters and stuff, and then in the middle of all of them is John Souls.